These are two huge fires burning hundreds of thousands of acres. Fire emergency now for Woodward.
Much of Woodward being evacuated.
This is the worst nightmare scenario that we have ever thought of at Woodward Fire Department.
A new fire just started right in front of us.
Today was a definite, I'm going to call it a historic fire day.
We can always rebuild houses, but we can't replace loved ones or animals.
Another high wildfire risk tomorrow and again on Thursday.
Live from downtown Oklahoma City, Oklahoma's own News 9 starts now.
We do begin on a grim note as we say good morning. I'm Colby Thielen here with meteorologist Megan Gold. We're going to talk about the forecast, what we can expect today as those fire dangers continue. But first, we begin with the multiple wildfires out of northwest Oklahoma. Those fires spread so quickly across Woodward and Beaver counties yesterday, coming close to homes, burning hundreds of thousands of acres. Emergency management says 3 structures in Woodward were destroyed, including 2 USDA buildings. And in Beaver, multiple outbuildings were also destroyed. We know a home in the Panhandle was destroyed after yesterday's wildfires as well. That happened in Texas County, just south of the Kansas border. Total of 5 structures were lost. No injuries were reported there. We're also getting word that 4 firefighters were injured from yesterday's wildfires, and the state emergency manager says 3 of them were together fighting the Beaver County fire when their truck rolled. Chris Campbell was among those hurt. Right now, his church family is asking for prayers this morning after he was badly burned. His wife says Chris has 2nd and 3rd degree burns on his arms and will be headed to a burn unit right here in Oklahoma City. Chris, our prayers are with you, as well as all those in Woodward, Beaver counties, and Texas counties. As we talk about what we can expect today, the fire danger is still there going into tomorrow as well, Megan.
It is, yeah. We will have this with us through the day today into tomorrow. Thankfully, the risk diminishes some daily. Yesterday was really the peak of the risk. Our winds were strongest yesterday, gusts to 60 miles per hour. And this is video. I mean, seriously, this video will leave you absolutely speechless. Watch this. This is what we call seeding, where essentially down the line, embers from a fire start a new fire. And that's how these things just keep spreading. One fire turns into 2, turns into 3. And then at that point, we lose count. And these fires are crossing the road. So very quickly, we had Oklahomans up in the Woodward area trying to evacuate their homes, leave behind their property, and not knowing what they're going to come back to. So a very, very scary situation. And we are, of course, thinking about those firefighters that were hurt because, of course, they were working so very hard yesterday. Let me show you today's threat. It does include western Oklahoma and up to the north and west in the Oklahoma City metro at about the moderate category. And the thing about today is that our winds are lighter, but our humidity is lower. So that's why we still have that threat. Here's the view from space. What you're seeing here are those hot spots. David was showing you those yesterday afternoon and evening. Still an ongoing fire out in the Texas Panhandle, and you can't see the Woodward fire, which is good. There are still a few hot spots, but it is nowhere near what it was. This is showing you, again, the fire's still burning up to the north, all the smoke coming in from the Texas Panhandle. You probably noticed the hazy skies yesterday during the evening, during the sunset hours, and we do have more burn bans in effect. I think those will continue to expand, and that would be for good reason as we continue with this very, very dry situation ongoing and these strong winds coming in. There's the live look from our Chickasha cam, 55 degrees. We will talk so much more about the wildfire threat for today. Cold front hits tomorrow and then cooler temperatures. Colby, back over to you.
Megan, thank you. A big challenge during yesterday's fast-spreading fires was getting crews into those areas fast enough. Woodward County Emergency Manager Matt Leonbauer spoke to us live yesterday, saying many of his firefighters went north to fight that fire in Beaver County. They were just headed back to Woodward when flames broke loose there.
We just don't have enough firefighters, and that's been our big problem. Winds were popping off at about 60-mile-an-hour gusts coming into Woodward, so it was just a worst-case scenario unfolding.
Leonbauer says they called on local firefighter task forces from Garfield County and from other areas for help. Now, evacuation orders in the Woodward area have now been lifted, but if you do have to evacuate, the following sites are open: the Vici Community Center, Vici City Hall, Moreland Community Center, Moreland United Methodist Church, Cheyenne and Arapahoe ERC. You can also follow all the directions from local officials. Also, if they ask you to leave, don't delay, just go. We'll, of course, share those updates as they become available here and on the News 9 app. Governor Kevin Stitt says that he's closely monitoring the situation where those fires burned. In fact, he says resources are on standby with the threat of more fires, including air support.
Well, anytime the pilots can fly, we kind of let the pilots make that decision. But I would say, when the winds get down below 30, 35 mile an hour, we should be able to fly those and have the buckets to go get the waters out of the ponds and help fight those fires. But we want the good people of Woodward to know that we're on it. We're fighting it as hard as we can.
The governor also spent yesterday alongside emergency management officials. They're working around the clock to make sure resources are ready to go. They were actually already here in Oklahoma City for a 3-day conference, ironically focusing on disaster response. News 9's Elizabeth Fitz has the story.
We bring all the emergency managers from all of our local counties, cities, state, federal, tribal partners. All the emergency managers come together and we have our annual conference for a couple of days, and then we have training classes that we provide them as association.
Clint Langford, the president of the Oklahoma Emergency Management Association, says this year's conference theme is building resilient communities.
Our keynote speaker was the Rio dos New Mexico emergency manager who recently dealt with a two-punch combination of not only massive wildfires, but the massive swiftwater floods that occurred in their community. So we're getting lessons learned from that, as well as we're looking at the Central Texas flooding that occurred.
From discussing new emergency protocols to reviewing past incidents and refining response strategies, attendees had their hands full with professional development. But Langford says that's not all they were doing.
Emergency manager is not ever off duty. We're emergency managers 24 hours a day. So for us to attend conference, we actually still have to protect our communities back home. One of the ways we do that is we stand up our statewide emergency operations center here at the conference, manned by our state's emergency management team.
And if they see wildfire activity popping up,
we notify the local emergency manager. We assist them if we can manage those things here from the conference. If not, they will depart and head home.
Elizabeth Fitz, Oklahoma's own News 9.
Senator James Langford also spoke at that conference and spoke with challenges that federal disaster response brings, like the complex relationships between federal agencies. He advocated for a streamlined application process for people needing disaster aid. And this morning, we're taking a live look from our Kylie Dedman. They're just outside of Woodward right now as they are heading there to bring us the latest from the ground. She's going to have a live report coming up in our next half hour. We've had crews there all day yesterday, and that coverage continues through tonight and throughout this morning. So we'll be checking in with Kylie as soon as they get there to find out the latest on the ground. And as we monitor the increased wildfire threat through this week, you can also get live updates on our weather blog over at news9.com. Someone else following it closely over in the Bob Mills Weather Center now, Megan Gold. Megan, the threat continues today and into tomorrow. Fortunately, you said winds a little bit lighter.
Yeah, and the winds have come down significantly from what they were this time yesterday. So really out the door this morning, it's breezy to gusty. This afternoon, winds will top out up to about 40 miles per hour. That is big time improvement from the wind 60 to 70 miles per hour during the afternoon yesterday. Winds up in Woodward this morning gusting to 27 miles per hour. And again, fire threat ramps back up this afternoon and evening. We'll talk more about when it comes down. That's coming up.
And we have more headlines ahead, including this. Police give the all clear at Integris Baptist Hospital after another bomb threat. What we know this morning, it's coming up. Plus, the nation is remembering civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson, who passed away yesterday morning. The legacy he leaves behind ahead. not only do we have the largest team of storm trackers in the nation, it's really, you have to remember that these are people that live here in your communities, in your hometowns.
That have jobs.
That have jobs. Our Kyle Wilson is a firefighter in Woodward, and he was there when those fires broke out yesterday, covering it as well as a storm tracker for us.
Exactly. Nobody better, nobody more experienced when it comes to those fires, and to have to report on your hometown when a fire is coming in from the southwest into Woodward proper. I mean, I just cannot even imagine the way he was feeling. He went into kind of firefighter mode, but also storm tracker mode. And I want to show you some of the video. This goes to show what type of person, type of people our storm trackers are. So Kyle keeps some water, like a tank of water, in the back of the storm tracking truck with kind of a hose. And when he realized that there were RVs that were about to be engulfed in these flames, what does he do? He gets out and he wants to protect people's property, putting his own self in danger. There were some propane tanks there that we were like, Kyle, you probably better get out of there. So again, just a big hats off to our guys and our gals. Val and Amy Castor were out along with Tom Pastrano, and we'll show more video coming up here in a few minutes. Got additional video to show you from our Val Castor. We had fire nados from how strong these winds were. When you have fires, they create kind of their own wind environments, and you can get fire nados. So just so much going on yesterday. The footage is absolutely breathtaking, and I'll continue to show it to you throughout the morning here. Just to recap, so we had the big fire up in the Panhandle, the Beaver County fire, and unfortunately we did have four firefighters injured total from the fires that were fought yesterday up in the Panhandle. That Beaver County fire that went all the way up into Kansas, over 150,000 acres burned. And then the Woodward fire, we had 4,000 Woodward folks evacuated. Thankfully, so many were able to return back to their homes yesterday evening, and 2,000 acres burned there. There are still hot spots, and we know they are still keeping an eye on that. But you probably noticed during the evening, the afternoon, the skies were hazy yesterday. We had fires out in the Texas Panhandle, and with the smoke coming into the state, also again those fires still an issue up in the Texas Panhandle. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. Thankfully, we're starting to see more burn bans added, and I think these need to continue to expand as we still deal with big time fire issues. We've had these major storm systems that are driving our winds, and there's another one off the west coast, and that is what is bringing more winds to us today into tomorrow, and will ultimately drive our cold front in here. So there's that area of low pressure, and a strong southwest wind today will start to ramp up as soon as the sun comes up, and then really into the afternoon, becoming breezy with gusts to about 40 miles per hour up in the north and west. So again, nowhere near what it was yesterday, and that will really help that fire threat. Don't get me wrong, it is still elevated. It is high today. Winds 15 to 25 in the blue, and then in the green there, winds 20 to 40 miles per hour. And just like yesterday, as soon as the sun sets, those winds start to come down. Our fire threat really diminishes, and it's much, much easier to get a handle on a fire where the winds are, say, 15, 25, 30 miles per hour compared to 40, 50, and 60 miles per hour. One thing working against us today is dry air continues filtering in. Low humidity down to about 10 to 15%. So that is why there is still an elevated fire danger with the ongoing need for rain, the ongoing drought. You've heard us talk about that for weeks and months now. So the Oklahoma City Metro included in that moderate fire threat. The fire threat is not extreme, but it is high out in the west and the northwest. During the overnight, winds really started to kind of taper off, but they're still breezy to gusty this morning, and we are 55 degrees, a very warm start on a mid-February morning. It is 61 in Minco, 53 in Weatherford, and 56 in Guthrie, 40s up to the north, 48 in Woodward, and 46 in Alva. There are your current wind speeds, much lighter, 5 to 10 miles per hour around the metro. Up in the northwest, 15 to 25 miles per hour. And again, those will increase as we go through the day today. Temperatures today nowhere near as warm up in the north and west. We had winds, temperatures to nearly 90 degrees yesterday up in the Panhandle and near Woodward. So the lower temperatures, that'll help as well. Still a warm day with low to mid 70s, and the record is 78 degrees. So we'll be near that. Tonight, skies are clear, maybe a few clouds. Winds are still breezy to gusty in the north and west. And tomorrow is the day of change. A cold front comes through, winds 20 to 40 miles per hour. Temperatures cooler up to the north, and that will start a more seasonable temperature pattern as we head into the weekend. So tomorrow, winds strongest across the north, fire danger highest across the north, and a moderate threat here in Oklahoma City. Thankfully, by the time we get into the weekend, the fire threat is down significantly. Temperatures in the 50s. We'll talk more about your forecast and about these fires coming up here in just a few minutes. Colby, back over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, we will continue our fire coverage throughout the day. Some other headlines to get to this morning. The all clear has been given at Integris Baptist Hospital after a threat was called in. Mason Dunn, Bob Mills, Sky News 9, over that scene yesterday afternoon. Police say the garage was closed while they searched that area. They didn't find anything. But keep in mind, this is the third threat made to a metro hospital in just the past few days. And we're waiting for Oklahoma City police to release the name of a man shot by an officer. Police say they were responding to a disturbance call Monday night right near Southeast 59th and Sooner, where that suspect assaulted a neighbor, they say, and was shooting at people. Police also say that man was shot after he refused to put the gun down. We're working to get an update on his condition this morning. The officer who shot the suspect is on routine administrative leave. Officers also found a man dead inside that home. That man has not been identified either. And the OSBI is investigating an officer-involved shooting in Ada. Police say that they responded to a disturbance in progress at a home Monday night. They say a man came out of that house and reported to officers that there was another man inside the home with a gun. The armed man exited the home and was shot by officers. The man was transported to a hospital here in Oklahoma City. His condition right now unknown at this point. So far, his name has also not been released. Oklahoma's Attorney General is asking for the Court of Criminal Appeals to approve an execution date for Raymond Johnson. Johnson was sentenced to death for the 2007 murder of his ex-girlfriend and her 7-month-old daughter in Tulsa. The AG also filed a motion for Johnson's execution date to be set for May 12th. The country is remembering the lasting legacy of civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson, who passed away yesterday. Jackson rose to prominence as a close confidant of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He also inspired generations with his message of hope.
The world is losing a giant. He helped shape the civil rights movement. He's done so much through the years for the Poor People's Campaign, for reparations, for police brutality.
So here in Oklahoma City, the Neal Center for Justice will host a Keep Hope Alive candlelight memorial. It's going to be Friday night at 7 to honor the Reverend's life. Service Oklahoma launches its new online platform for vehicle and driver's license services. The agency paused both online and in-person services last week to finish that system upgrade. The new Navigate system is designed to make renewals easier and faster, though some people say they've already run into issues. And we do have some breaking news we want to turn to right now. This is a reported grass fire. This is out near Northwest 23rd in Ann Arbor. You're taking a live look from our news tracker, Lex Stanfield. You can see a fire crew there on scene. We'll continue to check in with Lex as he gets updates from officials there as we monitor the continued danger of fire throughout the day. We're back right after this. Welcome back. State and local tourism leaders unveiled the Kickin' It on Route 66 Oklahoma City Centennial Celebration. A lot of words for a lot of history. The free event will honor the 100th anniversary of America's most historic highway.
We have enough infrastructure and build out across these 400 miles now that, again, we can convince families and, yes, of course, countries around the world to come to Oklahoma.
The Route 66 Centennial Celebration will be an all-day. This is on Saturday, May 30th at Scissortail Park in downtown Oklahoma City. Organizers say there's going to be shopping, musical guests, a drone show,
That's awesome.
all of the above. Can't wait for that.
Sounds amazing.
Big year for sure. Hey, we wanted to mention, we brought you that breaking news there in Northwest 23rd Ann Arbor. Our news journalist, or our news tracker, Lex Stanfield, checked it out, said it looked like it was a small patch of grass. They were able to get it out. So no major fires breaking out there.
Good news there. I do want to take you out here. This is our Stephen Owsley and Kylie Dedman. They are out in Woodward
Just
this
got back
morning.
to Woodward, yeah.
Yep, and they have some embers, and it looks like still some hot spots ongoing. So we know that the threat has come down significantly from what it was last night, but it is still possible for some of this to reignite and be issues kind of through the morning and through the day today, especially as the fire danger ramps back up. So let me show you what's going on out the door right now. Again, winds have come down significantly from what they were. We had gusts of nearly 70 miles per hour up in the northwest yesterday. It was flat out windy, an extreme fire danger day. It was kind of the peak of our danger here over the next couple of days, but today is still a high fire danger for sure. Temperatures are in the 40s up to the north. We are 55 degrees in Oklahoma City. It is hard to believe you can be that warm on a February morning. Winds, though, up in the Woodward area, we've had gusts about 25 miles per hour. So it is windy, and winds will only increase once the sun comes up, especially in the north and west, with gusts about 40 miles per hour here in Oklahoma City, maybe a gust or two to 30. So winds highest in the west and the northwest, again, nowhere near what they were yesterday, and our temperatures won't be as warm either. So that will help. Winds strongest in the northwest, temperatures in the low to mid 70s, a warm day, and the fire danger threat is highest in the west. Humidity will be very low today. So that is why Oklahoma City included in that fire threat. Bless you. We'll talk more all about what has happened here over the last 24 hours and again, what is possible for the day today.
All right, and Robin and Lisa are going to join us. We're back right after this. Good morning, Pierce.
I'm going to get Colby some medicine.
Get a cough drop.
These are two huge fires burning hundreds of thousands of acres. Fire emergency now for Woodward.
Much of Woodward being evacuated.
This is the worst nightmare scenario that we have ever thought of at Woodward Fire Department.
A new fire just started right in front of us.
Today was a definite, I'm going to call it a historic fire day.
We can always rebuild houses, but we can't replace loved ones or animals.
Another high wildfire risk tomorrow and again on Thursday.
Live from downtown Oklahoma City, Oklahoma's own News 9 starts now.
4:30, good morning, Oklahoma. What a wild day of wildfires yesterday. 155,000 acres in Woodward and Beaver County, and we've got so much incredible video coming in.
We knew it was going to happen. We were prepared for it yesterday, but still, when you're seeing the video that's coming in, it was so intense.
And the fire danger continues today. We're going to talk to meteorologist Megan Gold all about it, what we can expect today coming up.
But before we get to that, there is some breaking news, some commotion going on in southwest Oklahoma City. This is a live look right now at the scene from our news tracker, Joey Mitchell. He is at Southwest 36th and Portland. There is a lot of police activity in this neighborhood. Our crew said that at this point they have seen at least 7 police cars. The roadway there is temporarily blocked. The early report came in that this was a possible shooting. We've just talked with Oklahoma City Police. They say at this point they've not found anyone that was shot. It looks like there's a homeowner coming out to say, hey, what's going on? And at this point, police are there. Our Brianna Brown is gathering information, so we will get to the latest on this police response at Southwest 36th and Portland in just a moment.
The other big story we're following this morning is those wildfires in northwest and western Oklahoma. Wildfires spreading quickly across Woodward and Beaver counties yesterday, coming very close to homes. We know hundreds of thousands of acres have burned. Emergency management tells News 9 3 structures in Woodward were destroyed, including 2 USDA buildings. And then in Beaver, multiple outbuildings are destroyed as well. Unfortunately for one family, we know a home in the Panhandle burned down in the flames. This happened in Texas County in Oklahoma. It's just south of the Kansas border. A total of 5 structures lost. No injuries reported at that fire, but overall, you guys, 4 firefighters injured fighting these flames yesterday.
Yeah, 3 of them were in a vehicle that rolled over as they were fighting a fire. 1 firefighter brought here to Oklahoma City to the burn unit. So we're watching those conditions. It was just kind of a wild day yesterday.
Seeing that video from Val was nuts to just see how fast those fires started and then spread. And that was the story all across western Oklahoma. Let's turn to the Bob Mills Weather Center now. Megan, the wind's down, but the danger is still there.
It is. We do have high fire danger again today, guys. I want to start by showing you this video. The firefighters, the ones that work for Woodward, also volunteer firefighters coming in from all over the state, and watch as this fire starts to kind of take over the road that they're on, and they're like, we got to get out of here. I mean, these flames and these fires were moving hundreds and hundreds of feet per minute, 3 to 5 miles per hour. So very dangerous. And we do have our crews in Woodward this morning, and we'll get a live report coming up here in just a few minutes. Thankfully, the situation that we had during the evening has diminished significantly. Still a few hot spots, and the winds will be nowhere near as strong as what they were yesterday. Winds gust to nearly 70 miles per hour up in Beaver yesterday. And here's the situation this morning. Still a few fires ongoing in the Texas Panhandle. What you're seeing there are hot spots, and also that Texas County and Beaver County fire up in the northwest. And you can't see the Woodward fire from space, which is good news. So again, today's fire threat not as high as yesterday, but it is still high across the west and the northwest. We'll have gusts to 40 miles per hour. So our winds not quite as strong, but our humidity will be very, very low today, nearly statewide. Here's the live look from our Lucky Stars Skycam network, our Chickasha cam. Winds have come down during the overnight hours, but they are still breezy to gusty. A little cloud cover overhead, and temperatures so very warm. Mid to upper 50s and the low 60s out the door. 40s up across the north, and there are your current winds right now in Woodward at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. We'll talk more about the threat for today, the threat for tomorrow. A cold front hits tomorrow. Your weekend is cooler. It's coming up.
and still trying to get a handle on these fires. Fire crews in the Panhandle just hoping for a break today after that long day of battling those firefighters.
News 9's Kylie Dedman live in Woodward this morning. She has the latest on the situation there and how folks are doing. Kylie, good morning.
Hey Lacey, good morning. Yes, we are actually on East County Road 42 where we stumbled upon this wooden downed power pole. Now you can see there is still tons of embers kind of falling off. There's embers on the ground and then also on that pole. But again, this pole is down and that's just kind of all that's left to it. But those embers are just flying away. It is very windy still out here. So it's kind of, you got to watch and be careful on exactly where those embers fly off to, because again, one spark can just start a huge wildfire all over again. So this is something that we're watching. Those flames honestly are kind of getting a little bit bigger from when we first arrived here on scene. But I do see back in the distance, you won't be able to see it in the shot because of some of these little shrubs that are kind of in the way, but back in the distance, I do see a little bit of some first responders, some red and blue lights, and I also see another small fire that seems like some flames in the background. So crews are out here. We were also hearing reports of deputies also on scene just around the area, just watching for any hot spots. We know fire officials are out in the area. They're kind of staged here in the western part of Oklahoma just to be ready for any response that's needed. But you can kind of see in some of the shots that we're kind of driving to right here on the right side of the road, it is just dark and black. You know, some of this area has already just been destroyed. But back on the right side, you can see just a little bit of some flashing lights, but all of this area that's down here is just black. And then we're coming up on another power pole right here. You can see some small flames again on this one right here. Now on the other side of the road, we are seeing some lights on houses. So the power poles aren't affecting any electricity, at least in this area. But here's just another power pole that we came across. Again, this is on East County Road 42 in Woodward. And you can see in that area, it's black on that grass. So this area has been burned. And as you can see right there, so we're definitely out here paying attention and kind of just observing, and we're right there with the first responders too with any information that we can get. And we're actually having some first responders come up behind us as well. So we'll check in with them, but wanted to show you kind of what we've already stumbled upon, and we just arrived here on scene. Just wanted to keep you updated on that. But this is on East County Road 42 and kind of seeing some embers on some of these power poles out here. I'm going to send it back over to y'all. Reporting live, Kylie Dedman, Oklahoma's own News 9.
Yeah, and daybreak will reveal a lot of the damage too today. And Kylie, I know you'll be there throughout the morning there in Woodward. A big challenge during the fast-spreading fires was just getting crews to those areas. The Woodward County Emergency Manager, Matt Liembauer, spoke to us live yesterday saying many of his firefighters went north to fight the fire in Beaver County and were heading back to Woodward when that huge fire broke out.
We just don't have enough firefighters, and that's been our big problem. Winds were popping off at about 60-mile-an-hour gusts coming into Woodward, so it was just a worst-case scenario unfolding.
Liembauer says they called on local firefighter task force from Garfield County up in the Enid area to come in and other areas to help with those fires. So the evacuation order went out yesterday, but now everyone has been allowed to return back to their homes. There are still some shelters that you can go to if you've been displaced. The Vici Community Center and Vici City Hall, the Moreland Community Center, the Moreland United Methodist Church, the Cheyenne and Arapahoe ERC. And at this point, they're just saying if you have to go to one of those shelters, just please follow the rules and make sure that you are communicating where you live. We're sharing more updates as they become available. Now, big news at the state capitol. The Senate leader is working to give local leaders more control when it comes to issuing burn bans across Oklahoma.
Our Capitol reporter Haley Hetrick sits with the Senate Pro Tem about the proposed change.
When wildfires devastated parts of Oklahoma last March, only one county was under a burn ban. Unfortunately, we have a lot of experience with grass fires over the years.
County commissioners were restricted under state law, sparking this legislation.
It seems timely that we ought to, keep this thing moving.
Senate Pro Tem Lonnie Paxton filed this bill to give more local control when issuing burn bans, which prohibits trash or debris burning and campfires, enforced with fines or jail times.
If you look at the current state statute that we're trying to change, it says in order for a county commissioner to be able to issue a burn ban, one of the criteria is that you have to be in a severe level of drought. Well, there are different levels of drought.
On a day like today, the northwest half of Oklahoma doesn't meet that criteria because they're on a lower drought level.
What this new legislation does, that says with a unanimous vote of the county commissioners in that county and with consultation with the State Department of Ag, they can kind of override all those statutes and all those regulations and get a burn ban issued for their county.
A local firefighter himself, Paxton knows how crucial these decisions can be.
So it's a kind of an all hands on deck type of day, and you see a lot of cooperation in those rural areas. The local fire chiefs are in direct communication with their county commissioners. Maybe not so much the governor's office.
Giving more local control when it comes to potentially life-saving decisions.
Having the county commissioners, giving them some authority, I think is the right way to handle this.
The legislation passed unanimously out of Senate committee. The Pro Tem is hoping to get it on the floor as early as this week, saying this timely change to state law is needed. At the Capitol, for Oklahoma's Own, I'm Haley Hetrick.
The bill also makes sure local leaders have legal protection on their fire response decisions.
As we monitor the increased wildfire threat throughout this week, you can get live updates. Check out our weather blog. It's at news9.com. I think the big question today, what's today looking like compared to yesterday?
Yeah, is it going to be worse? Is there any relief in sight? Let's get over to Megan Gold. She's eyeing things this morning here at 445. Megan, good morning.
Good morning. Thankfully, winds will not be as strong today, but the fire danger is still high out in western Oklahoma. Winds will gust to 40 miles per hour, so that's improvement from 60 to nearly 70 miles per hour, but humidity will be very, very low statewide. That brings that threat all the way into the Oklahoma City metro. We'll talk more about the cold front that hits tomorrow. Does that bring down the wildfire threat? Also, more amazing video to show you from Woodward and Beaver County. It's coming up.
We want to take a live look this morning from our Kylie Dedman. They are there in Woodward, following behind first responders, continuing to battle those fires. You can see the lights there in front of them. That's a crew that was spraying along the roadways. We've seen some hot spots that were currently burning this morning in their shot. We're going to have more on the evacuation orders that were in place yesterday. What's it looking like today? We'll have a live report from Kylie ahead. Welcome back. Talking about 67 mile per hour winds out west yesterday. And the fuel for those fires, I mean, they spread so rapidly.
Yeah, burned more than
155,000 acres and counting, and there were fire nados live on television.
It was unbelievable,
Yeah.
and really kind of a historic day up in the Northwest, and it could have been so much worse.
And it's a day our trackers, I mean, were just spot on everywhere.
No kidding. And to have a storm tracker that is a firefighter and that is an expert in this, we were so grateful, really, for all the local authorities. I want to start by showing you this video. Let's listen in here.
A new fire just started right in front of us here.
We're gonna jump on this real quick.
Okay.
So,
let me pull back. Look at our shot. That just popped up.
So this is video from Marval and Amy Castor, and what they're talking about there is what we've referred to as seeding, where the embers and kind of the flames from these fires travel downstream, and as they throw those embers, it starts new fires. So one fire turns into two, and it turns into three, and it kind of just goes from there. And as mentioned, these fires were traveling at such a high rate of speed. When your winds are 40, 50, 60 miles per hour, that is far too fast for firefighters to even get a grip on these fires with as hard as they are working. And they did such a great job yesterday. Thankfully, when the winds came down by 6 to 7 to 8 o'clock, it was much, much easier to get these flames out. So let me show you several more pictures here on Lynx 1. We had thousands of folks evacuating from Woodward, and this was the site that they were leaving. Sent in from Allen as he was evacuating. I mean, can you imagine leaving your neighborhood, and that is what you see as you look off into the distance. Also this from Allen as well, as he's leaving the neighborhood, and you don't know what you're coming home to, right? And we were so grateful that we didn't lose a whole town yesterday, because if the winds had been any stronger, I think that is very, very possible. So thankfully, the situation today won't be quite as bad, but fire danger will still be high. Maximum wind gusts yesterday, Boise City 64, Guyman 59, Beaver, where the big fire was that traveled up into Kansas, 67 miles per hour, and then back into the Oklahoma City metro, winds to about 40 miles per hour. So the situation this morning, fires becoming smaller out in the Texas Panhandle. These are what we call hot spots that you can see from space, from satellite, and then there's the fire in Texas and Beaver County, and we can't see the fire there in Woodward this morning because thankfully the situation has gotten much better. I do want to show you the shot from our Kylie Dedman and Stephen Owsley. They are in Woodward this morning at County Road and 199, and they have been reporting that they're working to kind of get some of these embers and hot spots that have reignited this morning back out. So firefighters have had the water out, the hoses out, trying to get some of these hot spots out, and we'll check in with Kylie coming up here in just a few minutes. So for today, fire danger, it is high out in western and northwestern Oklahoma. Again, the wind's not as strong today, but our humidity really statewide is much lower. So we still have to watch this ongoing situation. We have, 6 burn bans in effect, Texas County up in the northwest, and then the counties to the south of the metro. And really, with the situation today into tomorrow, just not a good idea to do any type of burning. We do have a big wind maker off to our west, and this is what is going to continue driving winds through the day today and into tomorrow. It'll also drive a cold front in here tomorrow, which gives us much cooler weather. Temperatures back in the 50s for the weekend. Here's the live look from our Chickasha cam this morning. Winds are light to breezy here in the metro, and we've lost our temperature, but temperatures running right around 55 degrees. 60 down in Newcastle, 58 in Mustang, 55 in Piedmont, and 60 in Edmond. Up in the north and down to the west, temperatures in the upper 30s and the low to mid 40s. Winds pretty light here in the metro. Up in the Woodward area, they still have gusts about 20 and 25. And as we go through the day, winds will gust 35 to 40 up in the west and the northwest. So again, big improvement from where we were yesterday with winds 60 to nearly 70 miles per hour. But here's going to be the issue into the afternoon as dry air continues filtering in. Humidity down to about 10 to 15%, and that dry air is just more fuel for these fires. This afternoon, temperatures also not quite as warm up in the northwest. 74 here in Oklahoma City, 75 down in Altus, and tonight clear skies, breezy to gusty winds. Tomorrow, the cold front comes through. We switch to a northwest wind and temperatures in the 50s, 60s, and 70s with more high fire danger. But tomorrow it'll be higher across the north as winds gust to 40 there. Moderate fire danger here in Oklahoma City, but again, moderate to high. We can have fires pop up anywhere in the state. So a reminder, don't drive into smoke. If you see smoke, call local authorities. It is a very, very dry 9-day. The only hope for some precip comes at the very end of the 9-day next Thursday, guys, and even then we need several big rainmakers to get us out of this mess. Back over to you guys.
Megan, thanks so much. And we are already live near Woodward this morning. We're just southwest of Woodward. This is a live shot from our Kylie Dedman, who is there. They're actually following the first responders. They've been wetting the sides of the roads, just trying to prevent embers from these smaller fires from crossing over. We will continue to follow the breaking news right here on News 9. It's a Wednesday morning, closing in on 5 a.m. Glad you're with us.
As you're waking up on this Wednesday morning, our thoughts and prayers with Woodward, Beaver County, and all the firefighters trying to contain those fires out there. Sounds like they might get a break today.
Winds will be lighter, but the threat is still there. So it's not extreme, but it's high. So we've just taken it down a little notch, which is good. Temperatures this afternoon, we're going to warm back to well above normal for this time of year. Instead of winds to 60 and 70 up in the northwest, we'll have gusts to about 40. So again, it's improvement, but very low humidity means fire danger will still be an issue here in Oklahoma City, a moderate threat coming up. So much video to show you from our storm trackers, our Mason Dunn and Bob Mills Sky News 9, and also our Kylie Dedman, who is in Woodward this morning.
Yeah, there's her live picture. I think we have it up right now. She is just southwest of Woodward right now. You're looking live, and crews are already out and about. They've been working all night long trying to get a hold of containing this fire and watching these hot spots areas. Lacey?
They're actively monitoring, spraying down some areas. Yesterday, those flames were driving as fast as a car, if you think about it. Kylie, if you can hear me, why don't you go ahead and give us an update here? You got about 30 seconds left. What's going on out there?
Yeah, hey guys, so kind of to the right of our road, which is County Road 191 or 199, you can see some few embers, and there's also embers on the other side. But yeah, we have seen tanker trucks coming up and down, spraying it, try to help keep it out. But there are still fires and some flames and some embers out here. So crews are out working, but we'll keep you updated as we see more and what the crews are doing out here to keep everybody updated and safe. Back to y'all.
Kylie Dedman reporting for us live in Woodward. We're going to continue to follow their coverage live out there all morning long as firefighters continue to battle those hot spots. Also, the state's response, what you can expect today as well. All of it, our team coverage, back right after this.
These are two huge fires burning hundreds of thousands of acres. Fire emergency now for Woodward.
Much of Woodward being evacuated.
This is the worst nightmare scenario that we have ever thought of at Woodward Fire Department.
A new fire just started right in front of us.
Today was a definite, I'm going to call it a historic fire day.
We can always rebuild houses, but we can't replace loved ones or animals.
Another high wildfire risk tomorrow and again on Thursday.
Live from downtown Oklahoma City, Oklahoma's own News 9 starts now.
Good morning. The big story, wildfires. More than 4,000 Oklahomans forced to leave their homes as wildfires hit the northwest part of the state. Guys, this morning, right now, more than 155,000 acres have burned in Beaver and Woodward counties. And unfortunately, we also know 4 firefighters have been hurt.
Incredible video coming up right here on News 9. We have team coverage this morning. In fact, Kylie Dedman is out in the Woodward area, and we're watching even some hot spots this morning, and we're watching the weather for today.
Yeah, that's the big question. How high is that risk? Are those winds going to come down? Let's talk to Megan Gold. She's in the Bob Mills Weather Center. Megan?
Hey guys, good morning. The fire threat is back again today. It is not extreme, but it is still high, and we'll talk all about it, especially out in the west and the northwest. Let me show you video from our storm trackers. They were out all during the afternoon, the evening, the flames. Oh my goodness. Listen in here to our Valcaster.
We're going to jump on this real quick. Okay. So, let me pull back. Look at our shot. That just
So what this is called seeding. It's where a fire kind of down the way starts a new fire as the embers are kind of flying in the wind. And this happened all during the afternoon. So one fire turns into 2 and it just takes off from there. And these flames were traveling hundreds and hundreds of feet per minute. A very dangerous situation. A big hats off to our storm trackers and all the firefighters in Woodward County there, and also that came in from other cities nearby. So thankfully the situation much better this morning. They've been able to get a grip on that fire in Woodward as the winds have come down during the afternoon, the evening. Let me show you the situation this morning. We do still have fires burning up in Texas and Beaver County, but thankfully those hot spots are getting a lot smaller. Additional fires back into the Texas Panhandle, and then you can't see the Woodward fire, but we do still have some embers and hot spots, and those will be able to reignite today as the winds crank back up. To take you back to yesterday, maximum winds to 67 miles per hour in Beaver. That is nearly hurricane force winds there. Back into Oklahoma City, winds at about 40 miles per hour, and winds will not be that strong again today, but low humidity will crank the fire threat back up. That's the live look from our Chickasha camera, part of our Lucky Star Skycam network. 54 is our temperature, 39% humidity. The air is very, very dry. It is 51 in Kingfisher to Piedmont, 54 and more, and 60 in Newcastle, with 40s up across the north and gusty winds up in the northwest. So the winds will increase through the day today with gusts of 40 up into the north and west, which means fire danger is back again. We'll talk more about that and also the cold front that hits tomorrow. What about fire danger tomorrow? It's all coming up.
Megan, thank you. 4 firefighters were injured from yesterday's wildfires. The state emergency manager says 3 of them were together fighting the Beaver County fire when their truck rolled. And then Chris Campbell was among those hurt. His church family asking for prayers now this morning after he was badly burned. His wife says Chris has 2nd and 3rd degree burns on his arms and right now is at a burn unit right here in Oklahoma City.
Our thoughts with that family for sure, and everyone who's hurting this morning. In fact, we know one family lost their home out in the Panhandle yesterday through the wildfires. It was in Texas County, south of the Kansas border. In fact, we have learned a total of 5 structures so far have been lost. More than 155,000 acres have been burned. The good news, no injuries there in Texas County with that large fire.
Fire crews need a break today after that marathon yesterday. This morning, our Kylie Dedman is live in Woodward. She's been monitoring those roads and hot spots. Kylie, what's the latest there in Woodward?
Lacey, hey, yeah, we came back to this downed power pole that we saw earlier that had some of those embers on it, just to do another kind of update as we were kind of just monitoring this area. And now some of the embers and some of the flames have gone out just a little bit, but you can still see it's still a very active embers over here. You see some on the ground and then, of course, on that pole as well. Now, this is kind of down. There is still electricity in this area, but we also saw another power pole that also had some more embers. So it's still kind of very active in this area. You can kind of see them coming down, and the winds have calmed down ever so slightly since we were out here, maybe about like an hour or so ago. So that's good news there. When we first got here, the winds were blowing, those embers were going crazy, which again, one spark can start a huge wildfire. So it's great news that that has calmed down just a little bit. Now, this is right off of East County Road 42. And like y'all were mentioning, we know that multiple fire crews left last night, kind of cleared the scene just to be ready for today and what today can bring. But it's good news right now that some of those winds have gone down. Now, if you kind of look down on the ground, if we can kind of pan it, you can see that area has been charred, it's been black, it's been burned. And so this area has been affected. You can obviously see from that down power pole. But this area that we've been in, we've been seeing a couple of tanker trucks actively spraying on some of these sides on the roads just to make sure that those embers don't cross the roads and keep spreading. But we have seen quite a few tanker trucks actively working still early this morning. Now, we know at least 2,000 acres have been burned here in Woodward. And like y'all mentioned earlier, more than 155,000 acres of land have been burned across Beaver, Texas, and the Woodward counties. But again, about 2,000 acres have been burned here in Woodward. Now, something else I just want to mention as well. We know that there were evacuations put in place yesterday. All of those evacuations have been lifted, so that's really good news right there. But of course, fire crews are still out this morning. First responders, deputies, police, they're also out this morning just monitoring the area. So of course, crews are still out here working. We'll keep you updated as we see any more fires, embers, anything like to keep you updated and to keep you safe. So stay with News 9 as more information becomes available. Reporting live here in Southwest Woodward County, Kylie Dudman, Oklahoma's own News 9.
Kylie, we'll check in with you again throughout the morning. If you are evacuated, the following sites are open if you need them. The Vici Community Center and Vici City Hall, also Moreland Community Center, Moreland United Methodist Church, and Cheyenne and Arapahoe ERC.
As crews work to contain the fires, a big question today, will firefighters receive air support? The winds were too high yesterday for the firefighting planes called super scoopers to drop water. Winds got to be below 45 miles per hour for those super scoopers to fly. City of Woodward Emergency Manager Matt Leonbauer told us yesterday another problem with the super scoopers is the area must be evacuated.
Another problem is we can't dump water on lived-in structures if we have people on the ground too, so we have to make sure that area is clear.
So there are only 15 super scoopers in the country. Oklahoma has 2 of those planes.
Governor Kevin Stitt tells News 9 he is closely monitoring the wildfire situation. He says resources are on standby with the threat of more fires, including air support.
Well, anytime the pilots can fly, we kind of let the pilots make that decision. But I would say, when the winds get down below 30, 35 mile an hour, we should be able to fly those and have the buckets to go get the waters out of the ponds and help fight those fires. But we want the good people of Woodward to know that we're on it. We're fighting it as hard as we can.
So how will resources be available for today? We actually will be talking with Governor Kevin Stitt. He will be joining us live right at 6 a.m. this morning. We will ask him about the overnight updates and the plan for today.
We do want to remind you we are live streaming right now on the News 9 YouTube channel. You can always get us there. You can actually scan this QR code right here on your screen. It will take you to the right page. That's where we ask you to subscribe to the channel and then hop into the live chat, leave us a message, ask a question. We'll read some of those comments later on. You know, in some of the videos that we're showing, you see melted power lines, melted power poles. We're not seeing the power outages, at least on the reporting agencies. So that's kind of strange because you know there has to be some power outages with down power poles.
Out in a lot of the rural areas, but our thoughts with the folks in Woodward. I tell you, when we see that video of the evacuations with that smoke behind, I mean, it's terrifying to have to leave in such a moment's notice.
And not know what you're coming back to.
Yeah, you talk about a max wind gust 67 miles an hour.
Wow.
I mean, that can push those flames so quickly. Those are going to come down today. Let's talk to Megan about it. The fire danger is still there, Megan, but at least a little reprieve from what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, thankfully the winds will be much lighter today, but that threat is still there. Very low humidity. Our temperatures won't be quite as warm, but still the kind of parameters in place for more issues possible through the day. We could go all day and have no fires. Hopefully that is what happens. The highest threat is across the west. We'll show you more stunning video from our storm trackers coming up. Also talk more about the threat for today and tomorrow. A cold front hits. The latest coming up.
And while firefighters were battling those flames out west, emergency leaders were in Oklahoma City this week, focusing on disaster response, what they're learning from other wildfires across the country and catastrophic flooding that they're dealing with now the wildfires back here at home. We'll break it all down after the break.
Waking up 5:13 on the morning after devastating wildfires, and really just a hats off to all the crews out there, the volunteer firefighters, our storm trackers out there. Even one of our trackers became a firefighter. He is a firefighter, but was out there.
Need all the help they can
double
get.
duty,
Isn't that
right?
crazy? And the wild thing about the Woodward firefighters is that they were up in Beaver County fighting that fire. And then on their way back home is when the Woodward fire really took off. And then they had to get to work in their own hometown.
Yeah.
So just kind of a wild, wild day. And it could have been so much worse. You know, we lost structures. We did have firefighters hurt. And we are grateful that it wasn't much worse. But again, still a really, really scary situation for all the folks. I want to show you video. Speaking of, Robin, you just mentioned this. Kyle Wilson is a full-time firefighter with the Woodward Fire Department, and on his day off, what was he doing? He was fire tracking for us, and he keeps water in a hose in the back of his truck.
Of course he does.
And just the person that he is, and really that all of our storm trackers are, he sees these RVs and that they are in danger of being engulfed by these flames, and he gets out and starts wetting the grass and trying to save them. So it's just so very selfless of him, and it is really a tough situation to be in, to have to protect your own hometown on the job there. And a big hats off to our Kyle Wilson, really just kind of a bright spot of the day yesterday. We also had our Mason Dunn up in Bob Mills Sky News 9, and look at all the smoke. The smoke traveled for hundreds of miles. You probably noticed the haze in the sky during the afternoon and the evening. It made for a really gorgeous sunset with some of those colors, but tell you what, those flames hundreds of feet up in the air, the smoke traveling for hundreds of miles, just a wild, wild day up across the north and the northwest. Let me take you kind of do a recap here. The Beaver County fire, we did have again 3 firefighters injured, and we are thinking about all of them. That one's significant, over 150,000 acres burned, and that fire traveled all the way up into southern Kansas. The Woodward fire, we had thousands of folks in Woodward that had to evacuate. Thankfully, so many were able to return to their home during the evening yesterday. 1 firefighter injured there and 2,000 acres burned. And we do have our Kylie Dedman there this morning, keeping an eye on some of those hot spots that are still ongoing. There's a chance that some of those reignite through the day today with winds picking back up. So here, what you're looking at is the fires that we have ongoing and the smoke in place, thick smoke out in western Oklahoma this morning from fires in the Texas Panhandle that are still burning. We had a fire emergency just a little bit ago to the north of Amarillo, and then the fire's still burning up across Texas and Beaver County. So we talk so much about this, but these fires are man-made, if you will. Don't toss out your cigarette butts, check your towing chains, the tires, and you can clear out your property, your brush and leaves around that property. And then also just don't do any burning. We cannot be burning right now with the situation that we have, and it is illegal to burn in many counties in Oklahoma, and I'll show you that here in just a little bit. Here's today's fire threat. It's not extreme, but it's high out in the west and the northwest. Winds will gust to 40 miles per hour. So winds are lighter today than what we had yesterday, but our humidity, or the air, is so very dry. Our big wind machine, if you will, is well off to the west over California this morning. This area of spin is what is driving our strong winds out of the southwest today and ultimately out of the north tomorrow as a cold front comes in. Here's the live look from our Lucky Stars Skycam network. We've lost our temperature again in Chickasha. We do have a little cloud cover overhead, but temperatures are running right around 55 degrees, 54 in Yukon, 51 in Piedmont, 60 from McLeod to Choctaw, and 54 in Okarche. It is now 43 out in Elk City. Temperatures running right around 37 in Beaver and 43 in Woodward. Winds are breezy to gusty up in the northwest, and look how dry the air is this morning. Those numbers will only continue to fall through the day, which again, that dry air is fuel for these fires. Humidity of about 10 to 15 to 20%. Winds will be strongest up in the northwest with gusts to 35 and 40 by midday into the afternoon. Here in the metro to about 25 to 30 miles per hour. And just like yesterday, as the sun sets, winds are going to come down. This afternoon, temperatures in the low to mid 70s overnight tonight. Still breezy to windy, clear skies. And tomorrow, a cold front comes through, and that will be our day of transition. Cooler across the north, winds still gusting to 40, maybe a gust or two to 50 up across the north, and that is where fire danger will be highest tomorrow. That is the day where temperatures do start to go back near normal. We're in the 50s as we head into the weekend. Guys, back over to you.
Thank you. Many emergency management officials who work around the clock to dispatch resources like what we saw yesterday are in Oklahoma City for a conference focusing on disaster response.
Pretty timely. News 9's Elizabeth Fitz was there as leaders tuned in to what was happening in our state.
We bring all the emergency managers from all of our local counties, cities, state, federal, tribal partners. All the emergency managers come together, and we have our annual conference for a couple of days, and then we have training classes that we provide them as association.
Clint Langford, the president of the Oklahoma Emergency Management Association, says this year's conference theme is building resilient communities.
Our keynote speaker was the Rio de New Mexico emergency manager who recently dealt with a two-punch combination of not only massive wildfires, but the massive swiftwater floods that occurred in their community. So we're getting lessons learned from that, as well as we're looking at the Central Texas flooding that occurred.
From discussing new emergency protocols to reviewing past incidents and refining response strategies, attendees had their hands full with professional development. But Langford says that's not all they were doing.
Emergency manager is not ever off duty. We're emergency managers 24 hours a day. So for us to attend conference, we actually still have to protect our communities back home. One of the ways we do that is we stand up our statewide emergency operations center here at the conference, manned by our state's emergency management team.
And if they see wildfire activity popping up,
we notify the local emergency manager. We assist them if we can manage those things here from the conference. If not, they will depart and head home.
Elizabeth Fitz, Oklahoma's own News 9.
U.S. Senator James Lankford also spoke at the conference about some of the challenges with federal disaster response, complex relationships, he says, between federal agencies. So he's advocated for a streamlined application process for people needing disaster aid.
Coming up on 9, as we are entering that wildfire season, we're talking with Oklahoma's insurance commissioner on how to prepare your home to keep it safe. What he says you should do first, it's in our next half hour. I'm excited about the next episode of my In the Spotlight podcast. It'll be available this morning on YouTube. It's really a great conversation with Mike Beckham. He's the CEO and founder of Simple Modern. It's a $200 million drinkware company out of Moore, Oklahoma. Mike tells me, though, it was the foundation from his family that paved the way for his success.
What were they? Well, one of them that they said that's not particularly relevant to this, but was impactful, is they said, hey, we're never getting divorced. The second thing, though, that really stood out is that they were both in mental health, and they said, we just want you to know we did not pick our profession because we could make the most money here, because that's not the right place to make money, but because we felt like we could help the most people.
And Mike turned that idea into a reason to give through his company, Simple Modern. The podcast will be available this morning at 10:30 on Oklahoma's own original YouTube channel. He is a young man who really had a dream. He started in ministry and turned it into the marketplace, and it's really amazing what he's done.
He's so driven, too, in everything that he does.
Yes, and the motive behind everything is give, give, give. And you don't meet people like that all the time, you know, and so it's really refreshing.
Ministry in what you're doing.
Yes.
Even if it's a
no matter
business.
where it is.
Exactly.
There you
Ministry
go.
everywhere.
I love it.
Can't wait for that conversation that's coming up. Right now, let's turn to the Bob Mills Weather Center. Megan's got an eye on our fire danger today, Megan.
Of course, and the big story continues to be what happened yesterday. Now what happens today. Fire danger is still high. We've got our Kylie Deadman and Stephen Owsley there in Woodward this morning, giving us updates on the situation. Still seeing some active flames and embers. Check out that shot, guys. This is not a done deal for the town of Woodward. The fire danger ramps back up today. We'll talk more about it. Also hear from Kylie coming up here in just a little bit.
watching Oklahoma's own News 9 This Morning.
Welcome back. Coming up on 5:30, we have team coverage of those wildfires. We'll get to that in just a minute. First, some other top stories this morning. Oklahoma's Attorney General Gentner Drummond is asking for the Court of Criminal Appeals to approve an execution date for Raymond Johnson. Johnson was sentenced to death for the 2007 murder of his ex-girlfriend and her 7-month-old daughter in Tulsa. AG Drummond is requesting the date of May 12th.
Oklahoma City police say a third threat made against a Metro hospital just this week was not credible. Police say the threat was called into Integris Baptist Hospital yesterday afternoon. Mason Dunn and Bob Mills, Sky News 9 over the scene as police were investigating. Officers say the garage was closed while they searched that area. Again, no device was found.
And Swedish retailer IKEA is coming to Oklahoma, opening up its first store here later this year. Where will it be? Tulsa. The 51,000 square foot store will be at the Tulsa Hills Shopping Center. It is smaller than most IKEA stores, but will still have 3,000 items, 200 small furniture pieces, and of course the iconic food you can get at IKEA. An opening date has not yet been set. We'll keep you posted. And of course, our top story of the day, the wildfires to the west and the northwest. We know 155,000 acres burned and 4 firefighters got injured.
Yeah, and 4,000 people were evacuated from their homes in Woodward. We showed you the video of the cars just lined up, really kind of trying to escape those fires. And we have team coverage this morning.
Our Kylie Dedman is back in Woodward this morning with the latest. We're going to check in with her in just a moment. First, we got to learn about the threat today and even into tomorrow. Let's talk to Megan Gold. She's in the Bob Mills Weather Center. Megan.
Good morning, guys. Well, yesterday was kind of the peak of our fire danger threat. It does come down just a smidge today, but it is still high. Let me show you what is going on. This is what we monitor, the view from space, where you can see the hot spots and where we have active flames and fires ongoing. And these fires continue to shrink, especially compared to what we had yesterday. But up in Texas in Beaver County, that big fire still continues to burn. It's not nearly what it was. The Woodward fire has come down significantly as well, but there are still a few hot spots and embers that we are keeping an eye on. That's where our Kylie Dedman is there this morning. Also fires out of the Texas Panhandle still burning this morning as well. And we also have a little cloud cover overhead. The skies were smoke-filled and hazy, especially in the west and the northwest. And so you'll see that, especially with the sunrise this morning. Those fires out of the Texas Panhandle bringing smoke into western Oklahoma, and there is still a fire emergency to the north of Amarillo for one of those fires this morning. Here's the live look on our Lucky Star Skycam network. We are 53 degrees with a little cloud cover overhead, and temperatures pretty warm this morning. We have 40s, 50s, even a few 60s in the metro with some cooler air sinking down to the south. The air is very, very dry, and winds are light to breezy, a little breezier up in the northwest. Our relative humidity values are going to tumble into about the 10 to 20% range, which means fire danger is back again today. Winds not as strong, and that will help us. It's going to be high out in the west and the northwest, moderate here in Oklahoma City. We'll talk more about your 9-day forecast. A cold front hits tomorrow. What is the fire danger like tomorrow? It's all coming up.
Megan, thank you. Fire crews really hoping that they could get some sort of a break today. But it's News 9's Kylie Dedman is seeing there are still fires burning this morning. She is in Woodward with the latest. Kylie.
Hey, Colby. Yeah, I'm here off of County Road 42 and County Road 198. We're kind of meeting in the middle, and you can see it is still very active out here. Thankfully, the winds have died down quite a bunch from what we experienced when we first got out here this morning, especially after yesterday afternoon and evening. But yes, you can see it is still very active out here. These are large bales of hay that are still on fire. Tons of them. You still see those flames, huge cloud of smoke. You can smell this fire kind of just all around you in the Woodward area. Now, again, crews kind of have died down from yesterday to be prepared for today. And we have already seen quite a few tanker trucks spraying the sides of the road, spraying trees and bushes just to make sure any of those embers don't cross the road and to keep on spreading. But here we are again. This is near County Road 42 and County Road 198, where it's just tons of bales of hay here just still burning and on fire. We have seen some tire trucks in this area, so it did look like crews last night kind of were here just to kind of monitor this area, but as of right now, we are the only ones in this area. Now, if for any donations that there are, they are going to the new Woodward Fire Department for any donations just to help out with any of the firefighters or with any of the people that had to be evacuated. But we do know that all evacuation orders are now lifted. They were tons last night and yesterday evening, but again, those have all been lifted this morning, so that's good news there. Now, we do know about 2,000 acres have been burned here in Woodward, and of course, we have already still seen some more embers and flames already this morning, so we're going to be working and waiting to get more information on just that exact number. But again, so far we know at least 2,000 acres have been burned here in Woodward, and again, it is still an active scene. So although crews are kind of died down, waiting to get more into later today of what it could look like, it's still very active. So just be prepared and just be cautious if you're going to be out and about driving through Woodward this morning and any time today and really this week. But we'll keep you updated, so stay with News 9 for more updates to keep you updated and to keep you safe.
Hey,
reporting live here in Woodward, Kylie Dudman, Oklahoma's own News 9.
Yeah, Kylie, I forgive me if you said it already. Yes. Are those hay bales, large hay bales burning behind you?
Yes, yeah, these are tons of large hay bales just burning, and you can't even like make out the actual like shape of how they are because they've kind of just like deformed in a way. But yes, this is large amounts of hay bales right behind me just actively burning, and you can see the smoke in the air. But yes, Robin, large hay bales actively burning still out here in Woodward.
There. That's a lot of loss of property for farmers and ranchers, and trying to figure out if any livestock has been lost in these fires just over the last 12 to 20 hours. And so we're watching the situation unfold even this morning.
Yeah, we'll keep talking with Kylie throughout the morning as she monitors the situation there. Hey, if you were evacuated, by the way, there are some sites you can go to that are open right now. The Vici Community Center and the Vici City Hall, Moreland Community Center, Moreland United Methodist Church, Cheyenne and Arapahoe Emergency Response Centers open as well.
And a big challenge during those fast-spreading fires, just getting crews to the areas quickly. We talked with the Woodward County Emergency Manager, Matt LeBauer. He talked with us live, saying the problem was a lot of his firefighters actually went north to fight the fire in Beaver County, and they were heading back home to Woodward, and that's when that huge fire broke out.
We just don't have enough firefighters, and that's been our big problem. Winds were popping off at about 60-mile-an-hour gusts coming into Woodward, so it was just a worst-case scenario unfolding.
Liam Bauer says they called on local firefighter task forces from nearby in Garfield County and several other areas to help fight those fires.
Governor Kevin Stitt says he is closely monitoring the wildfire situation. He says resources are on standby with the threat of more fires, and those resources include air support.
Well, anytime the pilots can fly, we kind of let the pilots make that decision. But I would say, when the winds get down below 30, 35 mile an hour, we should be able to fly those and have the buckets to go get the waters out of the ponds and help fight those fires. But we want the good people of Woodward to know that we're on it. We're fighting it as hard as we can.
And we actually have photos of the governor at the Emergency Operations Command Center. They're interacting with him, showing him the current conditions, and he says he will dispatch whatever resources are needed. Governor Kevin Stitt will join us live on the air this morning. Look for that live interview coming up at 6 a.m.
We also know that 4 firefighters were injured in those wildfires. The state's emergency manager says 3 of them were together fighting the Beaver County fire when their truck rolled. Chris Campbell was among those hurt. His church family says they're asking for prayers this morning after he was badly burned. His wife says Chris has 2nd and 3rd degree burns on his arms, and he will be headed to the burn unit, in fact, here in Oklahoma City.
The state insurance department is also reminding all homeowners to be prepared in case of a wildfire. They recommend having all of your important documents in a fireproof safe and removing everything around your home that can catch fire, like brush or anything that needs to be cut back. Insurance Commissioner Glenn Mulready says it is very important to have an inventory of what you have in your home saved somewhere in case a fire breaks out.
You just got to take 30 minutes. Sometimes just walk around slowly, scanning each room, because when that home is sitting there, if you've lost your home, you're trying to reconstruct that is extremely difficult.
Even just taking your cell phone and going into each room of your house so you have something documented for later. Commissioner Mulready also warns homeowners to be aware of possible scammers after a disaster. He says, look into your insurance agent, your insurance policy, ask for help, reach out to the State Department of Insurance. They will help you through that process.
And here's a reminder this morning, we are live right now on the News 9 YouTube channel. You can scan a QR code. That'll take you right to that page. What you want to do is you want to go on there and subscribe, and then you can leave comments or questions. If you're out west, we'd love to hear from you. What are you seeing near where you live? Of course, we'll get to those comments throughout the morning.
Yeah, everyone's thinking about all those folks up in the Panhandle
Well,
today.
and I was just thinking all those farmers that were trying to protect their cows and their cattle and their livestock, cutting down fences, and I just wonder what the loss was there, because that's someone's livelihood.
It's not just the land, it's the livelihood that goes along with the hay, the livestock, and our thoughts and prayers are with everyone that's been affected by this, and for those firefighters who are out there trying to protect other people's property, for their lives to, now have a curveball. And we have one man here in the burn center in Oklahoma City. We're thinking about you all.
Very serious situation.
Yeah, I was thinking about Kylie shot too, seeing the active flames now. Let's turn to the Bob Mills Weather Center. I was looking at the smoke there, Megan, and it's nowhere close to what we were seeing yesterday with those strong winds.
Right, winds have come down significantly, and as soon as they did during the evening hours, they were really able to start to get a handle on those flames. But when the winds were 40, 50, 60 miles per hour, that is just moving way too fast to get a handle. We do have burn bans in effect. It is illegal to burn in those spots. Fire danger returns this afternoon and evening. We'll talk all about it coming up right after this quick break. Don't go anywhere.
Waking up on a Wednesday morning, the day after those wildfires. You know, yesterday at this time, we were just warning folks, be prepared. We knew it was going to happen. And unfortunately, it does a lot of damage.
It did. It was a big, big day up in the north and west. So, and we knew kind of all those things were coming together for that to happen. Winds were not quite out of control, but pretty darn close. 60 to even nearly 70 miles per hour. We have had events where they were even stronger than that. Check out this video of fire nados there. Yeah, those are a real thing. So when you get these fires, they kind of create their own wind fields. And what you're seeing there is that fire essentially spiraling up and creating fire nados. So absolutely terrifying. We get fires, we get tornadoes, and then we get a mix of the two here in Oklahoma. And this morning, so many of you probably waking up wondering what is the situation in Woodward this morning. When the winds came down during the evening, the overnight hours, it is so much easier to get a grip on fires when the winds are 20, 30, 40 miles per hour compared to the 50, 60 miles per hour. So control room, if we could take Kylie Dedman's shot. She is in Woodward this morning there, and notice we do still have hot spots and kind of some fires and embers ongoing. Those are hay bales. That's what you're looking at here at 5:46 on your Wednesday morning. And we're going to have a live report coming up from Kylie here in just a few minutes. So very limited visibility. We had no air support yesterday because of how strong the winds were. We had firefighters that were fire trucks that were wrecking into each other because of that limited visibility, and it was just kind of just all hands on deck, but also chaos trying to fight all these different fires. What would happen is one would start, and then down the line it would cause another fire, and it just kept going from there. So we're hoping we go through the day today and we don't have any issues like we did yesterday, but unfortunately it was a big day up in the northwest. And this is our Kylie Dedman shot there, looking at hay bales that are still engulfed in flames. And we know that the Woodward Fire Department is working very hard. So we can take it to Links 1. I'll show you. We had thousands of folks in the Woodward area evacuating. And if you can just wrap your mind around seeing this view as you're leaving your home with massive flames. We had big time congestion and backups with all the cars trying to leave the city, and with smoke and fire right alongside the roadways there. So sent in from Allen, and of course we love when you can safely send this in to us. But I tell you what, just thinking about all of you impacted yesterday. Winds up in the northwest, 60 to nearly 70 miles per hour. Back into western Oklahoma, nearly 50, a few gusts to 50 and 60, and then here in the metro, winds to 40. Winds will not be that strong today, and that will help alleviate some of that fire risk, but it is still high in the west and the northwest, and also in areas like Woodward. When the winds ramped back up this morning and into midday, that we could see some of that reignite. Hoping that doesn't happen. Here in the metro, the fire threat is moderate, and our humidity is actually going to be much lower today in Oklahoma City than what it was yesterday. So we've had several big wind machines or storms that have been cranking up our winds, and the one that is driving our winds today and into tomorrow is right over California. This area of spin here, a southwest wind today. It's going to drive in a cold front tomorrow, so we'll switch to a north wind. This is the live look from our Lucky Stars Skycam network, our downtown camera, and then our Chickasha camera here. It is 53 degrees, little cloud cover overhead, but most of us are mostly clear. It is 47 in Watonga, 50 in Chickasha, 56 in Purcell, and 58 in Shawnee. So more 30s and 40s up in the north. Winds are pretty light this morning. The air is very dry, but when the sun comes up, we'll start to mix some of those stronger winds down to the surface. And again, our humidity tumbles to about 10 to 15 to 20%. So just more of an environment for these fires to thrive. Our wind speed zone today, 15 to 25 miles per hour. Again, not as strong as yesterday. And then in the west and the northwest, gusts to 40. Temperatures won't be quite as warm in the northwest either. Temperatures were nearly 90 degrees up in Woodward yesterday. 74 in Oklahoma City, and mid 70s down to the south. Tonight, winds will come down again, but still still breezy to gusty with 40s and 50s, and tomorrow's our transition day. So cold front comes through, winds still at about 40 miles per hour in the north, a few gusts to 45 up in northern Oklahoma, and temperatures will be much warmer down to the south where it takes the cold front longer to hit. Tomorrow's fire threat highest across the north, and thinking there may be an area here along I-40 where that fire threat will be high as well because of how low our humidity will be. By Friday, temperatures in the 40s and the 50s. Same deal into the weekend, feeling more like February, guys. A very dry 9-day. Back over to you.
Your time now, 5:50. A quick check of traffic this morning for your morning commute. This is a live look from our news tracker, Lex Stanfield. He's at the Amarillo Junction, so I-40, I-35. Looking pretty good right now. We know traffic will pick up within the next 30 minutes or so, and we'll keep you posted. We'll check cameras again in about 10 minutes.
And coming up, News 9 storm tracker by day and firefighter by, well, whenever duty calls. There it is, News 9's Kyle Wilson. How he responded when he crossed paths during a fire in Woodward as he was tracking it as well. He jumped right into action. You'll hear more of the story coming up in a moment.
A big day of fire yesterday for Woodward, Beaver counties, and we're still watching the threat today, but it's not quite as bad as it was yesterday.
Not quite as bad. Yesterday was the peak, but today still an issue. Tomorrow still an issue. The zones kind of change day by day depending upon the directions of the winds. Tomorrow a cold front comes in and we switch to a north wind. So out the door this morning, our winds are pretty light. They've come down significantly during the overnight hours, but as we go through the day, they're going to pick back up, especially in the north and west. We'll have gusts about 35 and 40 40 miles per hour, which is why the threat will be highest in the west. Very low humidity though, so that's also an issue. Temperatures well above normal, 20 degrees above normal today. Also want to mention the blowing dust and smoke, air quality not good right now. On top of that, very high tree pollen. So if you're someone that's sensitive to that, I would just say stay indoors as much as you can. Also, our Kylie Deadman is out this morning in Woodward. We'll have a live report from her coming up here in just a few minutes.
Justin, I'm going to try to put this out. I've got a weed sprayer before it gets to this.
News 9 storm tracker Kyle Wilson stopped mid-chase yesterday to help people put out a wildfire at a mobile home park in Woodward. Kyle is also a lieutenant at the Woodward Fire Department. Yesterday was actually his day off, but you know him. He's out there tracking for David, and he still got out of his truck armed with a weed sprayer and a water tank and his 14 years of firefighting experience. He told Carl and Amanda that his firefighting experience helps him actually chase storms.
Kyle, being a firefighter, does it change how you approach the way you track fires for News 9?
It really does, Carl. Dealing with fires for 14 years on the fire side and actually chasing, it gives me the perspective, of actually how to keep people safe and kind of how fire reacts in grassland, and I can use those tools for that.
Way to go, Kyle. Can't say thank you enough, big guy. And our crews are back at it in Woodward this morning as firefighters battle hotspots. And this is some of the video yesterday. Look at those fire nados. We're watching things for you again this morning.
But first, Governor Kevin Stitt joins us live with the latest on the wildfire situation. His message to Oklahomans, it's coming up in 5 minutes. Good job. Hey,
Governor, is that you?
Stitt? Or Tevis?
And we're going to give him a few more moments if you don't mind.
Hey, Tevis, you got it.
Tevis.
I think we're hitting it like 6.
Yeah.
So
can you patch the governor in right now, Tevis, for us?
Hey, no, I cannot unless I need to go to a different station. We're going to probably go to Woodward if we can't hit it off the top just because we have to wrap right at 6:30 for him. So we can call back right after if you all don't mind.
Yeah, we need him right at 6, babe. That's when you told us. We got it all. We're ready to go.
We're ready to go right off the top at 6?
Yes. We planned the whole thing like we said.
Fabulous. Okay, well, I'll patch him in. Just give him a few seconds.
Okay, thank you, babe.
do we need to bump him even higher? We can. And then go to weather after that?
Don't we have it right at the top of 6? Yeah, he's right here.
Well, then weather, then.
Yeah.
Whatever we need to do.
No.
Live from downtown Oklahoma City, Oklahoma's own News 9 starts now.
These are two huge fires burning hundreds of thousands of acres. Fire emergency now for Woodward.
Much of Woodward being evacuated.
This is the worst nightmare scenario that we have ever thought of at Woodward Fire Department.
A new fire just started right in front of us.
Today was a definite, I'm going to call it a historic fire day.
We can always rebuild houses, but we can't replace loved ones or animals.
Another high wildfire risk tomorrow and again on Thursday.
Good morning. It is Wednesday. What a marathon day of wildfire coverage yesterday. So many flames in our state.
Yeah, it continues to be our top story this morning. In fact, we are continuing to stay in Woodward, bringing you all the latest developments. 155,000 acres burned, and we know thousands of people were evacuated from the Woodward area. 4 firefighters injured battling those flames yesterday.
And there are hot spots burning this morning. As you're looking live, that middle shot right there, that's hay bales. More than 50 of them burning on the southwest side of Woodward right now.
And right now, Governor Kevin Stitt joins us live on the air. He's been closely watching the wildfires, and this morning he's ready to get back at it.
Governor, thank you for joining us here. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Robin. It's great to be on with you.
Hey, I know you've been talking with emergency managers already early this morning. What is the update this Wednesday morning at 6 a.m., Governor?
Well, the Woodward fire is about 20% contained, and we got really fortunate. We were able to keep that out of most of those neighborhoods. We've got reports of just a couple houses that caught on fire, but really thankful. We deployed all of our forestry assets. All the firefighters did a great job, and we have four wonderful firefighters that got that are hurt. So we need to keep them in our prayers, and they've been out there all morning. The Beaver County, we evacuated Tyrone, the town of Tyrone earlier. But really, we need to be on our watch because about 20% contained in that Woodward fire. And today, as the sun comes up, we still have some threats, and even into tomorrow might be the worst day.
Governor, can you kind of talk about how you think the firefight response has been, the decision, where to deploy resources, kind of your take on what unfolded yesterday from a firefighting stance?
You know, I feel really good about it. As you remember, last March, I made some changes in leadership at forestry because I didn't think we were quick enough to get the assets deployed to that part of the state, and so we've done that a little bit better this time. I feel really pleased with where they're at. Highway Patrol was up there, monitoring the situation, helping with evacuations. But just want to caution all the drivers. We had a 7-car pileup up in the Panhandle, so be really cautious because there's a lot of smoke out there on the road. So we've been cleaning that up this morning as well.
Governor, let me ask you, because part of the help needed was using the planes, the super scoopers, to get the water on some of these fires. Are emergency managers talking about that availability today?
Yeah, we sure are. You know, the pilots, it was too windy to fly yesterday, and so we hope to get those assets in the air first thing this morning to help suppress that fire. I've done some emergency declarations for those 3 counties that'll unlock some other resources. We've already contacted our friends in Kansas and New Mexico and Texas to help with some air assets as well. So, yeah, all hands on deck to put these fires out and protect our homes, our families, and our livestock.
Governor, what was your reaction when you heard the word that the fire in Woodward was on the southwest side of town coming into Woodward proper? 15,000 people live there. A lot of times these flames are out in very rural areas, but to have a city on high alert being evacuated, what was your reaction to that yesterday?
I mean, it's just shocking. I mean, we experienced it a little bit last year, but when you have that, we talked to the meteorologists, when it's that dry of conditions and the humidity so low, and then we have, 50-mile-an-hour winds, it is really dangerous. And so just want to remind everybody, when we say evacuation, they're not just playing around. That's time to get out. I want to remind people that if you're in the path, you can absolutely prepare today by making sure your yard is really mowed. There's not dry material up around your house that could literally protect your house from going up. But very pleased that forestry and all our rural firefighters and municipal firefighters were able to get a line cut and contain that. So yeah, just super fortunate that it did not get through into town.
Governor, last year you lost property north of the metro from a wildfire. You know what some of these folks have been going through, losing property. What's your word to the folks in the Panhandle this morning and those who are dealing with the elements of the fires?
Well, obviously, just be real super careful, and we can always rebuild houses, and but we cannot replace our loved ones. So make sure you stay safe, and it can come on you really, really quick, especially with these winds. And so, also want to thank our first responders and firefighters for being out there protecting all of us and giving us the warnings, and even the news media and everybody preparing and helping us with that. It's really, really important for people to know.
Governor, you're about to hop off this phone call. Where are you headed next? What's the first thing on your agenda this morning?
So I'm going to just stay in contact with emergency management, and whatever they need, I'll make sure I signed that declaration yesterday. So we'll be monitoring it with all of our assets, and I'll be on with forestry and also the highway patrol just to make sure that Oklahomans are as protected as we can be.
We're showing the pictures of you kind of in that war room yesterday with emergency managers watching the fires. Governor, thanks for spending time with us here this morning. And anything else that you want to say to residents before we let you go this morning?
No, just be safe out there, and let's just pray that the wind doesn't kick up and we can just totally suppress these fires, because it's going to move into the central part of the state. Humidity is going to be coming down, and then on Thursday it'll be moving more to the eastern part. And so if we can't get these fires totally out, we've got to really watch what's happening. So let's just, hope that we do not have the huge, huge winds and low humidity numbers.
Governor Kevin Stitt, thanks for hopping on News 9 with us this morning. We always appreciate it, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
All right. And the news this morning from Governor Kevin Stitt, those wildfires about 20% contained. So there's going to be a lot of work still to do today, and we need the weather to cooperate.
Yeah, happy to hear that those winds came way down last night. That helped. They're going to come down a little bit more today, too. Let's talk to Megan Gold. She's in the Bob Mills Weather Center. Megan, I want to talk about wind speeds yesterday in the 60s. Much lower today.
Yeah, winds 40 to 60, nearly 70 miles per hour up in the north and west. Warm temperatures and very low humidity. The flames were absolutely horrifying. This video from Woodward, from our Val and Amy Castor. And I tell you what, just a big hats off to all of the emergency management and our firefighters that were out trying to protect people's livelihoods, their homes. And we are so grateful that the situation wasn't worse and that we did not lose any Oklahomans. Winds here in Oklahoma City, 40 miles per hour, again 60 to nearly 70 up in the north and west, and winds will be lighter today, but there is still high fire danger. What you're looking at here is keeping an eye on some hot spots, and here over just the last few hours, the Texas and Beaver County fires, those hot spots have really gone down, but there are still fires, even a fire warning in effect in the Texas Panhandle. So the fires are shrinking, but there are still active flames in Woodward this morning. I want to show you our Kylie Dedman shot of some hay bales that are on fire here. And again, the folks in Woodward just not in the clear yet, as we still have high fire danger today. Stephen Owsley and Kylie Dedman there with the shot. If you're just now joining us from Woodward this morning, still active flames. So this thing is not over. I'll take you back to Lynx 1. The winds here in the metro are calm to very light. They really lightened up during the evening hours, and that really helped firefighters to start to get a better handle on those flames. 53 is our temperature right now. Very, very dry out the door. 40s to the north, 50s, even a few low 60s down to the south and to the east. And the air will be so very dry today. Humidity at about 10 to 20%. So even drier than it is right now. Fire danger high out in the west. It's not extreme, but still high. We'll talk more about it. More stunning video to show you coming up here in just a few minutes.
We are live again in Woodward this morning. In fact, our crews actually found some hay bales on fire. You're looking live right now. They are on the southwest side of town in Woodward, the area that was evacuated. Again, these fires 20% contained, according to the governor. We'll check in with our Kylie Dedman next.
Mic check 1 2, mic check 1 2, Kylie Dedman, mic check 1 2, 1 2, Kylie Dedman, mic check, mic check.
All right, time for the bus stop forecast. We're watching out for the kiddos here in the metro. And then kind of as we bring you in, what the governor said is those fires only 20% contained out in the Panhandle and Woodward.
Right, and as the winds come back up today, there's a chance that we have all of that kind of reignite. Right, so we had our Kylie Dedmon shot, and I don't know, control room, if we can take that, or we can take it here in a minute and show those hay bales on fire this morning. I think a lot of people waking up wanting to know, has the situation improved? And when the winds came down during the evening, it was much easier to get a grip and a handle on those flames. When you have winds 40, 50, 60 miles per hour, right? I mean, how do you even stop them when they are traveling hundreds of feet per minute? So to the bus stop forecast, we'll start there this morning. And then we've got some footage to show you this morning. If you are sending the kids to school, winds are much, much lighter this morning. But as we go through the day, they will start to ramp on up. I don't know if we can take links one, or we'll start with some video here. These are from our storm trackers. A big hats off to our storm trackers for all the hours they put in yesterday, guys. Those are fire nados from some of the wind fields that these fires create, along with the ongoing very, very strong winds. And so the smoke traveling hundreds of miles, and then again, these fire nados that spin up within all of this fire. So terrifying to watch these flames jump over the roadways and how fast they can travel. We also had our Mason Dunn in Bob Mills Sky News 9. He was up surveying from the air and just viewing the hazy skies. I mentioned this earlier, but pollen very high right now. That combined with all the blowing dust and the smoke in the air quality is just not good. So if you're sending the kids to school this morning, it is on the warmer side. We've got 40s and 50s, even a few spots in the 60s. And this afternoon, we're going to warm to a high temperature around 74 degrees. We've been talking so much about it, but right now, just not the time to do any burning. I know you've got land, you've got things you've got to get done, but with the conditions that we have this week, it is extreme to high fire danger. And really, yesterday was the peak of our fire danger because of how strong our winds were, and they will not be that strong today and tomorrow. But with the low humidity, the dry air, and winds still about 40 miles per hour, we still have high fire danger conditions. So areas south of Oklahoma City under burn bans, in Texas County up in the northwest, there's a chance through the day today there will be more of those added. So several things you can do here. These fires are started by humans. So all of these things, if we can kind of check these off the list here, if you see smoke, call it in. Local authorities work so very hard to get those flames out very quickly before things burn out of control. That would be amazing. So for today, highest in the west, humidity down to about 10 to 20%, nearly statewide, but the winds will be strongest out in the west. So with the ongoing drought, the dormant vegetation, you know the drill there, we still have this issue with us. There is a storm system off to the west, all the high wind warnings and wind advisories in effect out ahead of it, and it's this area of spin that is driving our wind. It's also going to help drive a cold front in here tomorrow, which means by Friday and into the weekend, we're back to feeling more like February. Not frigid cold, but temperatures in the low 50s, so at least more seasonable for us. Here's the live look from our Lucky Stars Skycam Network downtown camera, the Broadway extension here. No traffic issues, but of course, if we have any, we'll be sure to let you know. 53 is our temperature right now, 35% humidity with a light southwest wind. Temperatures up in the northwest are in the 30s and the 40s, 44 in Clinton, 50 in Hobart, 55 in Lawton, and 40 in Ponca City. Temperatures warmer down to the south and east. Winds are lighter down to the south and east. We had some breezier winds up in the northwest this morning, but they've come down some and they're going to go back up. So by this afternoon, again, humidity very, very low. That is just one of those kind of parameters that helps ramp up that fire danger threat. In addition, winds again strongest in the west and northwest, gusts to about 40 miles per hour. So much, much better than what we had yesterday. And then here in the blue, 15 to 25 miles per hour. And again, that does extend back into the metro with a moderate fire danger threat. This afternoon won't be quite as warm as yesterday, but we'll have more sunshine. 69 in Guyman, 72 in Woodward, 75 in Lawton, and the record on this day is 78 degrees in Oklahoma City, so near record highs. Tonight, if we do have any fires that happen this afternoon and evening, they will start to come down some in the northwest, but still a few gusts to 25 and 30. Temperatures upper 40s and low to mid 50s. Tomorrow, the transition day, the cold front comes through, so we get a wind shift from from a southwest to a north wind. Temperatures in the mid-50s, 60s, and 70s down to the south, and fire danger is still high tomorrow. Some data hinting that we may really kind of expand this area along I-40 because of how low our humidity will be. But winds will be strongest up across the north. So guys, we are just looking for some relief from these winds. Winds are strong today, tomorrow, into your Friday and Saturday. But thankfully, the fire threat really comes down into the weekend before it ramps back up into early next week. Back over to you guys.
These wildfires from Tuesday have burned more than 242 square miles. And the governor just told us live right here on News 9, the fires are only 20% contained. Let's get to south of that area right now. Kylie Dedman there live near Woodward this morning, and you got a fire right behind you this morning. Kylie, this is really a tough start to the morning.
Yeah, Robin, it is. These are large bales of hay. It's dozens of them. It's about thousands of dollars worth of destruction here in this area. Now, thankfully, the winds have died down from earlier this morning, so that's definitely going to help some of the firefighters get some relief. But you can see that smoke in your shot just kind of just billowing across. It is just heavy, thick smoke. Again, tons of fire still all around Woodward that we've been seeing. Now, we know that there's been more than 2,000 acres burned here in Woodward. And you just mentioned more than 200,000 in Beaver, Texas, and all the Woodward counties. Now, thankfully, here in Woodward, all evacuations have been lifted. But of course, there's still tons of fire all around the area. So if you're going to be out driving around, going to school, running errands, whatever that is, please be cautious of whatever you are doing and be safe, because there are still tons of fires and still tons of hot spots. We have seen fire crews, fire trucks, tanker trucks actively working this morning. So crews are still out early this morning. We've heard from fire officials, police officials. They're still out working, helping everybody get safe and get that information out there. We have seen some of those tanker trucks spraying water on trees and bushes and just grass just to make sure some of those embers don't cross the road to keep on spreading. But again, fires are still all over Woodward County, and like you said, about 20% contained. Now, again, we do know more than 2,000 acres have been burned here in Woodward, but as you see, it's still just coming out and the smoke is just going. So thankfully the winds have died down, but of course, just be safe. We'll keep you updated and keep you safe, so stay with News 9 for more information on that. But reporting live in Woodward, Kylie Dedman, Oklahoma's own News 9.
All right, Kylie, they're live in Woodward. We'll continue checking back in with Kylie throughout the newscast this morning.
And now to the injury report. We know 4 firefighters were hurt fighting these wildfires. The state's emergency manager says 3 of those are Roston firefighters. They were all together fighting the Beaver County fire when their fire truck rolled. We learned one of them suffered a brain bleed and is now at OU Medical Center in Oklahoma City. We're told Chris Campbell was another one of the firefighters injured. Chris's wife tells News 9 he has 2nd and 3rd degree burns on his arms and will be headed to he's at a burn unit right now here in Oklahoma City. Now, officials say the 4th firefighter that was injured was hurt in a separate crash and was also sent to the hospital.
We have much more ahead here on News 9. We're going to look at some of the wildfire video from yesterday. Coming up right after the break, we're going to show you what our storm trackers found while they were out working to bring you the latest information and to keep you safe. We're back after this.
my goodness. Oh, we just had we're talking about it seeded. A new fire just started right in front of us here.
We're going to jump on this real quick.
Okay.
So,
let me pull back. Look at our shot. That just popped up about literally 5 seconds ago.
Wow, that's our Val Caster there watching that wildfire jump the road, and look how quickly it's spreading. It's just really wild how strong those winds were. And you'll hear him react here in just a minute, just saying how crazy it was, how fast it spread, and then watch, you're gonna go right across the road. He's talking about seeding, so that's basically an ember from somewhere else landing there, and then look how quickly it goes up in flames.
And you watched this all live unfolding yesterday as David and the whole team were covering the wildfires. Again, this was Val's shot. You see the fire truck coming down the road. Look at that smoke that is in the air. In fact, even in the metro, you could kind of just feel the heaviness of the smoke coming from the panhandle.
Oh my goodness, and you think, oh, it can't jump a paved road, that's too great of an area, but when the flames and the wind are going 60, 70 miles per hour, the road is no obstacle whatsoever. This is just terrifying to see. Let's get over to Megan. She's in the Bob Mills Weather Center for the outdoor forecast. Our thoughts and prayers with folks in Woodward and Beaver County.
No kidding. And that seeding that you're seeing there happens so often when we get these huge wildfires. The embers travel and just ignite a new fire so very quickly, especially when you have those red cedars around. You may have noticed all the haze, the smoke in the air quality, not great right now. On top of that, tree pollen at a very high level. So if you are someone that is sensitive to that, just keep that in mind. I've been talking about this all morning, but if you're just now joining us, fire danger is high again back in the west. We'll talk all about it coming up. The temperatures warming back to the 70s, near record highs with more sunshine today. We'll talk more about your 9-day forecast and that fire threat coming up right after this quick break.
watching Oklahoma's own News 9 This Morning.
This fire is coming into and burning into Woodward.
A new fire just started right in front of us.
Justin, I'm going to try to put this out. I've got a weed sprayer.
Everybody in this area, we're sending crews up to Beaver County.
150,000 acres, 35 miles long, 6 to 10 miles wide.
These fires today were very historic.
Devastating wildfires force 4,000 Oklahomans out of their homes in the northwest part of the state and the Oklahoma Panhandle. We know 155,000 acres have burned. In Beaver County, that's the biggest one, 145,000 acres, as well as on the Kansas side of the line, destroying multiple outbuildings. In Texas County, 2 fires destroyed at least 5 structures, including someone's home, and also caused a 7-car crash. In Woodward County, 3 structures were burned, including 2 USDA facilities. This area is about 242 square miles.
5 counties are under burn bans this morning. That includes Cleveland and Pottawatomie County and Texas County up in the Oklahoma Panhandle. These bans mean no burning for up to 2 weeks. You could face a fine or even prison time.
And state officials tell News 9 4 firefighters were injured in Beaver County in the Panhandle. 3 Ralston firefighters were rushed to the hospital after their fire truck rolled over. One of those injured, Chris Campbell, had 2nd and 3rd degree burns. Also, another firefighter was taken to OU Med with a brain bleed. A 4th firefighter was taken to the hospital. Officials did not share what happened. We say good morning, everyone. 6:30 on a very busy 24 hours here. Another high fire danger day today. Coming off already the devastating wildfires yesterday.
Yeah, we're going to have coverage all morning long, including a live report from our Kylie Dedman. She is in Woodward this morning, where there are still flames burning right now.
Yeah, look at her live shot on the bottom right of your corner. We'll check in with her in a moment. But right now, let's get to meteorologist Megan Gold in the Bob Mills Weather Center. What does today bring as far as those conditions, Megan?
The winds won't be quite as strong, but fire danger will still be high. Of course, our storm trackers were out, and Mason Dunn was in the sky. Bob Mills Sky News 9 there. I tell you what, the flames just take your breath away yesterday. The smoke traveling for hundreds of miles, and a big hats off to all the firefighters in the Woodward area up into Beaver County, and then all of the volunteer firefighters that jumped in or came in from surrounding cities to help out. It was an all hands on deck effort. And let's just go ahead and recap again what happened yesterday. So really our 2 big fires, the Beaver County fire and the Woodward fire. And we have had hundreds of thousands of acres burned, especially up in the Panhandle. The Woodward fire, 4,000 folks had to evacuate. And as that fire started on the southwest side and was headed into town, we were so grateful that they were able to get that thing under control. Winds were nearly 70 miles per hour up in the northwest yesterday. Winds are much lighter today, but still the parameters still there for a high fire danger risk. Winds at about 15 to 25, and then in the green there, winds gusting to 40 miles per hour. So a moderate to a high fire danger, very dry air. Temperatures this morning in the 30s and the 40s, 50s here in the metro. Winds are light, but as we go through the day, winds are going to ramp up and humidity will start to fall. We'll talk more about when the fire risk comes down. Do we have any rain chances on the 9-day? And a cold front hits tomorrow. How cold do we get? It's coming up.
Our team coverage of the wildfires continues in just a moment. We do want to remind you, we are live right now streaming on the News 9 YouTube channel. We do that every day. You can always find us there. You can scan this QR code. It'll take you straight to that page. Subscribe to the channel and it will let you hop into the live chat. We're asking you to leave a comment or a question, and we will read some of those throughout the newscast.
At 6:34, let's take a live look from our Bob Mills Arena cam for our traffic report this morning. Construction on the new Thunder Arena causing some new road closures in this area this week. Here's the look at it. One eastbound lane of Sheridan and a westbound lane of Reno. Those will be closed around the new arena site. Drivers can expect detour signs to pop up as well. This all starts today and it's going to go through Sunday.
The pilots, it was too windy to fly yesterday, and so we hope to get those assets in the air first thing this morning to help suppress that fire. I've done some emergency declarations for those 3 counties that'll unlock some other resources. We've already contacted our friends in Kansas and New Mexico and Texas to help with some air assets as well.
That is the word this morning right here on News 9 from Governor Kevin Stitt. Just 30 minutes ago, he joined us live talking about help coming from the air to help put out the wildfires. The governor says the wildfire in Woodward County is only 20% contained this morning, and he is asking all of us to be vigilant this week. The Red Cross says the evacuation shelters are open for Oklahomans who need it. In Woodward, you can go to the Cheyenne Arapaho Emergency Response Center. People in Moreland can go to the community center or the United Methodist Church. State officials say Red Cross staff will be providing food at those shelters.
And more help is on the way to the Panhandle for wildfire response. In fact, Grady County firefighters posted this video late last night. Task force members from all over the county driving northwest to help. Officials say Grady County crews will stay in those areas to protect residents. And we know Oklahoma Baptist Disaster Relief is feeding first responders working to put out those fires, and they will still need our help. Woodward firefighters need donations for water, Gatorade, non-perishable snacks, eye drops, chapstick, those are important when fighting fires, as well as baby wipes. And you can drop those donations off at the Woodward Fire Department.
With this wildfire threat, the Oklahoma Insurance Commissioner is reminding everyone to be on the lookout for scams and scammers. Commissioner Glenn Mulready says scams and contractor fraud happen more often right after a big disaster.
Don't be writing checks to anyone that's knocking on your door. Look to your agent, look for your neighbors and friends for referrals of contractors versus someone who somehow comes and knocks on your door.
Mulready also says if your property is damaged by fires, do what you can to protect whatever is left by boarding it up or using tarps to prevent further damage. If your property was damaged by wildfires, the state also wants to hear from you. They need you to report it online. This can help coordinate resources and recovery efforts. You can report the damage at damage.ok.gov.
Well, your thoughts and prayers go out for the folks. You know, it's not only just trying to get your family out, you're trying to get your livestock out safely, you're worried about your land, your livelihood. It impacts folks in so many ways.
We saw so many people leaving their homes yesterday with flames approaching, not knowing what they might be coming back to.
Oh, it's very scary. Those evacuation orders in Woodward lifted today. We'll continue to monitor it and how the situation develops as we go into today. Let's turn to Megan Gold. She's in the Bob Mills Weather Center. Megan, when are winds expected to pick back up as we go into the rest of the day?
They'll start to increase this morning, and then definitely by 11 o'clock to lunchtime, they are cranking up gusts to 35 and 40 in the north and west. So much better than what it was yesterday, but it is still a high fire danger day, a day to be very, very diligent and stay weather aware. Here's the live look from our Norman Regional camera. Something good here on your Wednesday morning, an absolutely beautiful sunrise. Some of that smoke in the air actually will help give us more vibrant colors. Winds are pretty light right now, but again, they will ramp up through the day. High fire danger in the west. What about tomorrow when the cold front hits? It's all coming up right after this quick break.
Welcome back. We are streaming live on the News 9 YouTube page. We've asked you to chime in, leave some comments. A lot of you are talking about what happened yesterday with the wildfires. Renee says, we are praying for all who have been affected by the wildfires. Please be safe.
And Landon says, good morning, News 9 crew. Hope y'all are well. I'm so thankful for this live feed.
And Random Okie says that wind was freaking brutal. I think that's the statement of the day right there, Random Okie. Yesterday, gosh, they were as strong and as fast as a car drives down the highway.
Seriously,
I mean, 60, 70 miles per hour.
Yeah, no kidding. Up in the Northwest, and we were getting these videos and seeing the live stream from our storm trackers that were up in the Panhandle, and you could barely hear them talk because of the wind and how it was howling. And when you have fires that start in that environment, they take off and you can't stop them. And it's terrifying. So thankfully, when the winds came down during the evening, firefighters were really able to get a handle on things. But as always, we had our entire fleet of storm trackers out keeping an eye on these fires for you. I want to show you this. I'm going to let you listen to the audio here.
A new fire just started right in front of us here.
We're going to jump on this real quick.
Okay.
So,
let me pull back.
So this is our Val and Amy caster, and what's happening here, this is what we call seeding, where the initial fire, the embers of that fire, kind of the wind carries them, and then it ignites a whole new fire down the line. And that's how you get one fire that turns into 2, into 5, and things just kind of get out of control from there. And look how fast those flames are moving. So just spectacular footage. You hate to see it. Terrifying. Look at the smoke in the air. And again, these fires were traveling at about 3 to 5 miles per hour. When the winds came down, the conditions got much, much better. More to show you as well. We had Mason Dunn and Bob Mills, Sky News 9 in the air, and also our Kyle Wilson. This is one of the highlights of the whole morning. He is a full-time firefighter with the Woodward Fire Department, and one of the most selfless people. All of our storm trackers are, but he carries around a garden hose and water in the back of his truck for days like this, and he's out on his day off as a firefighter storm tracking for us, and he sees this mobile home park and these flames that are so very close to kind of overtaking these campers here, and he gets out and starts wetting the ground and trying to do what he can to put those flames out. So just a big hats off to him. We are so grateful for the expertise that he brings to our team as a firefighter, especially on a day like today. More to show you here from our Val and Amy caster on Links 1. I'll show you here in just a second. This is from out the door this morning. Something good and bright to start your day at 6:44. A gorgeous, gorgeous sunrise. When you get smoke particles up in the air, it can cause really vibrant sunrises and sunsets, and many of you sent in pictures yesterday. I'm sure you noticed that. This here from our Val and Amy caster as those flames just shooting so very high in the air. And again, with the conditions in place yesterday, when these fires started, they ignited and they just went, especially with those red cedar trees, with the low humidity, the dormant vegetation, and with all the folks that were having to evacuate. This is what they were seeing as they left their homes, their livelihood, watching farmers and ranchers, their land go up in smoke. And so your heart just absolutely breaks to see this. And there were traffic jams getting out of Woodward for the thousands of folks trying to evacuate. So this could have been so much worse, and we're really, really grateful that it ended up the way that it did. Here's where we stand this morning. The fire up in Texas and Beaver County has shrunk significantly here over just the last few hours. Normally the hot spots, you can see them here on our view from space. Still ongoing fires out in the Texas Panhandle, but those are shrinking as well, and you can no longer see the fire in Woodward, but there are still active flames there. This is the fire threat for today, highest in the west as we have low humidity and winds, thankfully nowhere near as strong as yesterday, but still gusts to 40 with low humidity, a recipe for some fire issues. So it's already dry out there, but as our temperatures start to climb through the morning and that humidity starts to drop, we'll really be in a more favorable environment for those fire weather conditions. Why is it so windy? We have a storm system off on the west coast that is driving our winds. This area of spin here will ultimately drive a cold front in. It has a southwest wind today. We switch to a north wind tomorrow. The view from our downtown camera, 53 is our temperature right now. We've got a mix of 40s and 50s. 43 in El Reno compared to 55 in Midwest City and 58 in Pink to Lake Thunderbird, 57 in Choctaw, 38 in Alva right now. And our winds are light to breezy up in the northwest. And again, they will just increase through the day. Temperatures about 20 degrees above normal in the low to mid 70s. Tonight, winds are still breezy to gusty 40s and 50s. And tomorrow is where we transition to a more February-like pattern. Cold front comes in 50s, 60s and 70s with more high fire danger tomorrow. So really having to keep our guard up here over the next several days. As we go into the weekend, temperatures come down to closer to what is normal for February, and then fire danger back next week, guys, as south winds crank up with gusts to 40 by next Tuesday.
Megan, thank you. Sun coming up in Woodward right now as fires are still burning. You are taking a live look. We're going to have a live report from our Kylie Dedman coming up right after this.
So it was just a worst case scenario unfolding. Now, this is actually burning through the same area that we had tornado hit in 2012 and come through that exact same area.
Boy, they've been through it. The communities in Woodward devastated by disasters. Now, even more than a decade later, with the wildfires Tuesday in Woodward alone, burning about 2,000 acres, and in that whole area, More than what, 250 acres, right?
About 155,000.
Yeah, 155,000 acres, yeah.
242 square miles. The pictures are just incredible. Emergency management in Woodward County telling us they actually struggled with a lack of firefighters because their fire crews were doing mutual aid and they were sent to fight other wildfires in our state.
The video you're looking at right now, those are actually hay bales that were burning earlier this morning in Woodward. You can see the live picture here as well. Our Kylie Dedman has been there all morning long. She joins us now live as the sun is coming up with the latest look. Kylie?
Hey guys, yeah, so we have seen fires all across the area as we've been driving in today. And as you can see right behind me, there is still a large fire. Now, these are large bales of hay, tons of them, dozens of them, which is going to cost thousands of dollars of damage due to this. Now, they are still going. You can see the smoke going. Thankfully, winds have calmed down this morning, but of course, there's still tons of fire all across Woodward County. Now, we know at least 2,000 acres have burned here, and we talked to the governor earlier this morning. So take a listen to what he had to say about the damage and the fires here in Woodward.
The Woodward fire is about 20% contained, and we got really fortunate. We were able to keep that out of most of those neighborhoods. We've got reports of just a couple houses that caught on fire.
Now, we know that all evacuations have been lifted that were put in place yesterday. Again, they have been lifted this morning. If you're going to be out and around in Woodward, please be cautious and take it nice and slow because, again, there's still tons of fires all across the area. Stay with News 9 for more information and we'll keep you safe. Reporting live here in Woodward, Kylie Dedman, Oklahoma's own News 9.
Yeah, landowners just scrambling to protect their property. Kylie, thank you. Our team coverage of the wildfires continues right after this short break.
Before you leave, devastating wildfires in Beaver, Texas, and Woodward counties burned 155,000 acres in total, at least 8 structures so far, including someone's home. Beaver County was hit hardest, with state officials reporting 145,000 acres burned across Oklahoma and across Kansas. Megan, as we turn to you, another high fire danger day today.
Yet not in the clear. We do still have active flames in Woodward this morning, and fire danger will be highest in the west. So let me show you out the door this morning. A gorgeous sunrise. We do have some cloud cover around. Temperatures pretty comfortable out there. A little chilly. 53 degrees, 40s up in the north and west. Winds strongest in the west this afternoon. And there's your high fire danger temperatures around 74 degrees.
State officials say 4 firefighters were injured in Beaver County. We know 3 Roston firefighters were rushed to the hospital after their fire truck rolled over. One of them, Chris Campbell, had 2nd and 3rd degree burns. Another firefighter was taken to OU Med in the city with a brain bleed. A 4th firefighter was also taken to the hospital. Officials did not share what happened to him.
But as you remember, last March, I made some changes in leadership at Forestry because I didn't think we were quick enough to get the assets deployed to that part of the state. And so we've done that a little bit better this time. I feel really, really pleased with where they're at.
Governor Kevin Stitt live right here on News 9 this morning, just at 6 a.m., telling us he is happy with the state's response to the wildfires from Tuesday. You might remember he fired the state forester Mark Geller after the deadly March wildfires last year, accusing the department of not deploying all the assets. The governor is reminding Oklahomans, please stay vigilant today to help those first responders.
And back here in downtown Oklahoma City, construction for the new Thunder Arena causing some new road closures this week. One eastbound lane of Sheridan and a westbound lane of Reno will be closed. Drivers can expect detour signs. Keep in mind it starts today. It goes through Sunday.
Justin, I'm going to try to put this out. I've got a weed sprayer before it gets to this.
News 9 storm tracker Kyle Wilson had to stop mid-chase yesterday to help put out a fire that was about to hit a mobile home park in Woodward. Kyle is with the Woodward Fire Department. Yesterday was his day off, but hey, it didn't stop him from helping. He hops out of his truck. He has a weed sprayer full of water in the back of his truck, and he hosed down those flames. 14 years of firefighting experience, and he helps whenever it's needed.
The governor this morning telling News 9 the fire there in Woodward about 20% contained, so it will be a big day there. Also coming up on CBS in 1 hour, a live report from our Kylie Dedman. She will be telling the country what's going on in Oklahoma with the wildfires. CBS Morning starts right now.